When we talk about the capital markets, specifically the stock markets, the world stock markets, we look at four fundamental factors. Those fundamental factors are expected earnings growth, valuation parameters, sentiment, and monetary policy. We call those four factors our four cornerstones of our outlook. Let's take a quick peek at where we think those four cornerstones currently stand and what we think the ramification on equity values are going to be regarding those four cornerstones for the remainder of this year. First cornerstone being, let's call it valuation. World's equity valuation is fair right now. If you can find markets that are slightly overvalued, specifically here in the U.S., based on about 35 years of historical data, and markets that are rather dramatically undervalued, specifically a number of the emerging markets, and also perhaps Japan you can put into that mix, and maybe a little bit of Europe. But in general, the world's equity markets seem fairly valued, so let's call valuation on a global scale a neutral. From a negative standpoint, we have sentiment. Investor sentiment right now is very high. There's a lot of bulls on the street, which normally leads to punk equity returns as we move forward. The third factor is monetary policy. And monetary policy on a global scale, particularly with the major banks, is very strong. So that's a very good positive. The third is earnings expectation. And right now, the average analyst on the street, as we do, expects the S&P 500 to show about 7% earnings growth over the next 4 quarters. This is normally speaking where we think things are at, which is a positive. So we have 2 positives, earnings growth, monetary policy, 1 negative, sentiment. So we're positively inclined towards equity values for the remainder of this year.